Our heroes tonight so far have had a very interesting brunch with Mrs. Claus, in which she revealed her side of sort of what she knows about what has been going on. And they headed down to the armory to check on the status of missing weapons, where they met the poor and unfortunate Scrappy. And now our heroes are reconvening, and I believe they're heading off to Carpenton.
Mm-hmm. Because if the episode is named Down in Carpenton, eventually we have to get to Carpenton.
Eventually.
I don't know. There's a proud tradition in comics of the title and
Bait and switch.
cover art having nothing to do with the story.
I will forever be happy about the Superman issue where he is forcing Aquaman and Jimmy Olsen to fight over a pitcher of water in the desert. That's my jam.
I was expecting cover bait from my favorite DC comic, the one that changed the course of my entire life, and it was not cover bait. I was really thrilled.
Oh, that's awesome.
DC Comics presents number 26, where a Green Lantern is making kryptonite to kill Superman.
That's what's up. All right. So you guys are taken to pick up the champion coupe. Sorry, the champion chariot. And you are free to start heading off to Carpenton. Chucky asked if you want me to go with you.
I'll give Minerva the side eye. Like, do we want to?
He'll defer to you this time.
Maybe you should keep an eye on things here. We can find our way with the map. It'll be good.
All right, I got to check in on some redcoats and get some casualty reports from, well, business.
Yeah.
You guys be careful out there, all right? There's those woods can be dangerous.
Thanks for the warning.
And he will tip his little fedora to you, and he will head on off to go do something shady, probably.
Sounds on brand.
Mm-hmm.
But the drive up to Carpenton is pretty nonplussed. The roads are paved pretty well. Every now and then you'll see a candy cane mile marker that takes you up. It's only about 5 or 6 miles outside of the castle proper. And Carpenton itself is a small village, mostly of small wooden handcrafted dwellings. There's a couple of wood shops where it looks like people are taking logs to be processed to turn into planks to be loaded onto trucks to be sent back to the factories. You see there are several lumberjack camps out and about in the forest nearby where they are chopping down trees and preparing them to be cleaned and readied. And nobody seems to pay much attention to you all rolling in this loud car.
Hey. Talking about I just had a tune-up.
It's a car from the 1920s. It probably needs cranked and pushed down a hill to start.
Look, 8-track. That's enough out of you.
So you said this was a place where not only the carpenters were working, but the rangers were working as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So would you see any of them about, or is it just the carpenters right now?
To the north end of... It's like Kevin's actual first car.
Oh.
It was a horse. My first car was a horse.
I thought it was a Stegosaurus.
Hey, you contrary to popular belief, you could not ride those. I mean, I was there. It was pretty rough.
It's the plates on top. Makes it hard. There are some rangers. You notice on the north end of town in particular, there is a sort of well-appointed lodge that has a watchtower attached to it. You see there's a couple of elves out there who are dressed in sort of forest green, almost military attire. Champion, you recognize some uniforms that look like they wouldn't be out of place in the trenches of World War One.
So, random question, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Do these rangers have animals with them?
A couple of them do. You notice that a few of them have some pretty decently sized raccoons with them. They're sort of large, puffy. Some of them are strapped with bandoliers and carrying equipment around for these elves.
Okay. Well, I think we should go talk to the Rangers at the very least.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good idea.
Very well.
Well, Josiah, do you have any other ideas? Do you want to go investigate the ambush site?
We should definitely do that.
You should, but I'd like to know what we might be facing out there first, in case there's another ambush waiting for us. So let's head on over to talk to one of the Rangers. Champion,
Yeah,
will you take the lead on this?
sure. Yeah. If their uniforms are sort of reminiscent of recent style, are there any discernible like rank insignia? Is there one that sort of stands out as like a lead ranger?
There is a ranger standing at the top or at the base of the watchtower. Looks like they're walking out of the watchtower, and he is dressed. His uniform has been modified slightly in that he has a kilt instead of pants, and he has a beret on his head and a bushy red beard.
Okay.
And he is carrying a saber as well.
Okay. All right. That looks like our likely candidate to know what's going on. So I guess I'll take the vanguard and lead the group over towards him.
He does notice you approaching, and he sort of looks up at you. And his accent is thickly, almost imperceptibly Scottish. And he says, "What are you doing here, tall folk?"
Well, we're here investigating the disappearance of Mr. Claus at the behest of, well, a number of interested parties. So you look like someone who would have a good idea of what's going on around here. So there's been a lot of cloak and dagger, a lot of closely guarded secrets, some things that we might need to know, like, oh, there's an actual, shooting war going on amongst the elves here.
Well,
We just found that.
You do be having that right, Outlander. Nobody here is direct except for me, Yukon McTavish.
Yukon McTavish. Okay. Nice to meet you. I am Champion. This is my partner, Challenger. This is Minerva. Yeah. I'm like, okay, magical person. Maybe Minerva knows this guy.
You Outlanders get more strange and outlandish names every time you come up here. Champion, Challenger.
And of course, Kid Mysterium.
Not my name.
Well, then introduce yourself.
This imbecile forgets that I'm called the Mysterious Boy.
Yeah, that's way better.
What are the three of you, like
Right.
pets or something? You got dog names.
Well, as Josiah can tell you, it's our last and quiet and nice counterpoint to Mysterious Boy. Can tell you that sometimes real names, well, you want to keep those under wraps for various reasons.
Oh, you're Outlanders from Fairy. I didn't understand. Sorry.
Titan City, actually, but
Oh,
sometimes
he spits on the
sometimes it's
ground.
hard to tell the difference. Wow.
That
Just not
trash
treating each
fire
other
of a
with
city is not a place anybody should be from.
Well,
Trash fire of a city. Does he know many things about a trash fire? And she looks down at the raccoon at Yukon's feet.
The raccoon looks up at you like, "What are you talking about?"
He said trash fire. I just didn't know why he was thinking that.
The raccoon looks over at Yukon and looks over at Minerva and it's like, you can understand me?
Yeah?
Can you understand him?
Yeah?
you tell him that I don't understand what he says any time ever?
He has that really thick accent, which makes it really hard to tell. Except for my ears. I've got pretty good understanding.
You speak raccoon, my
I
guy.
speak a lot. I speak a lot of languages.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, we do have trash fires at the North Pole.
Just why did he think Titan City was a trash fire?
From what I can gather, as best as possible through his accent, he just racked up some gambling debt there.
Hmm.
Also, there's a lot of kids on the naughty list in Titan City.
I only know of one. Sorry.
That's
Two.
fair.
You know of two.
I would like to continue having a conversation with the raccoon and eventually get to a point where I can ask him or her or they what they knew about Mrs. Claus being in the area when Santa went missing.
You talking about that lady that smells like peppermint?
Tall lady with the silver hair. Yeah.
Yeah. She was here. And the raccoon sort of points over into the woods. She went over there and disappeared for a while. The rangers went out looking for her. And
She went off by herself.
yeah, she ditched her escort.
Her elven escort.
Well, give me an insight check.
Okay.
James is watching Minerva talk to this raccoon. Like, holy shit.
20.
You get the impression that your emphasis on the elven patrol escort, there's almost like a bit of pride and a little bit of, oh no, you caught me, in the raccoon's voice.
So you were with her.
Me and a couple of the other raccoons.
Well, it's good of you to keep an eye on her.
She seemed important. Give me another
Anything?
insight check. Or an expertise streetwise check.
I don't have that, but I will spend a hero point on. There it is. On that 16, because that is a 29 after the reroll.
With a 29, you get the impression that the raccoon and its associates were not watching over her to protect her. You think they may have been taking her somewhere private to shake her down.
And how much did you get off of her?
The raccoon's eyes like bottle up. What are you?
Someone very astute at reading into things.
Yukon is pissed because he understands what you're saying too.
I would have taken the raccoon away from this conversation
Okay.
so that he's not.
Yeah, man.
I was
that's
using
cool.
champion as a decoy. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Quite all right. Because I would have been asking McTavish about, everything he can give us in details about, the disappearance, any sort of strange activity immediately before or after, any unusual characters lurking around when it happened, any unusual weather patterns, since magic is a thing here and they're always dabbling in this, that, and the other thing.
And it's a
Just
problem.
basically just asking him for as much detail as he can provide, and if that keeps him distracted from the raccoon conversation, all the better.
McTavish will let you know that there has been an increase in Bumble attacks, abominable snowman attacks in the area. And they seem to be organized in a way that they have not been organized ever before in his career. And he will let you know that he and his granddaddy and his papa have been hunting yetis for as long as there's been elves at the North Pole.
Hmm.
He will let you know that the lead carpenter in town, who is a man named Martin. What's Martin's last name? It's in my notes. Oddly enough, it's Martin Bell in my notes.
Well.
Not of relation.
You assume too much.
As far as we know.
Hmm.
But Martin Bell has been, he's the lead carpenter. He has been under investigation by the Rangers for not being able to produce the material that he has been tasked with. He's not been filling his quotas of chopped wood. He will say that Mrs. Claus came through here and ditched her escort a couple of days ago, right around the time of the disappearance. And Santa came through with a very angry roustabout from Titan City, who got shot in the head and recovered by the Rangers.
Can you, I don't know if he has a map handy or if it's even close up that he could indicate where exactly that happened?
And he will mark on the map. He will sort of say, I can show you where that took place. I wouldn't recommend heading out there by yourself, though. It's out pretty close to the Yeti caves.
I'll sort of gesture to my companions. Well, I wouldn't consider it heading out by myself.
Well, no, but it's dangerous country up here. A lot of you aren't used to the dangers of the Arctic Circle. The ever-shifting terrain, the freezing cold, the feeling of your fingers turning into little black sausages and falling off.
I think we can handle it.
Can ye, boy? Tell me. Have you ever had to eat one of your companions to survive when you were stranded in a blizzard?
No, but I mean the circus had some horses that I mean it wasn't a blizzard.
Did you eat somebody at the circus?
No, no.
I'm confused and concerned.
Hence the reason he's no longer with the circus. And he ate it.
All right, Team Mysterious, calm down back there.
Teen Mysterious.
The mysterious child.
He's not even a teenager yet. It was the longest
You
2
were the
hours
ones that
away.
we would eat anyway.
Pre-teen and mysterious.
McTavish will say, I can get a couple of me rangers together and we can lead you on a ranging mission.
That'd be most helpful, thank you.
When would you like to depart?
What time of day is it at this point?
It's probably around 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Ooh.
Did we just have breakfast? Oh, I guess
Yeah.
we talked to Homer.
Brunch.
Brunch.
It's still.
What
I
is
don't
this
know.
supposed-
Do you think it would be wise to wait till morning, given that it's almost dark?
Is it almost dark at the Antarctic? Isn't it always dark or always light?
No, that's true. This
It
time of
is-
year, I guess it's always dark.
Yeah, it has a bit of a magic ability. The North Pole has a bit of magic that keeps the sun around longer than the rest of the Arctic Circle, but it is sort of a dreary gray overcast rather than the dark night of like the 30 days of night in Alaska.
Okay. Well,
How long will it take to get out there?
Well, if we go at the speed of an elf, can get there in 30 or 40 minutes.
How fast is the speed of a gnome?
Faster than the crow flies, you little boy.
Don't feel like that was a stupid question. And he'll look questioningly up at Minerva.
No, that was. You didn't know. It's a good question to ask.
Yukon will say probably 3 or 4 hours for the likes of you.
We have transportation.
Yeah.
There's no roads where we're going.
I got chains on the tires. It's all good.
We could try to take the champion chariot.
I guess it would be a question of how deep the snow is up that way.
Yeah.
Chains won't help if it's really deep snow.
Yeah, McTavish recommends against taking the car.
Okay. Well, I mean, those reindeer aren't busy. Can we borrow the sleigh?
Can ye borrow the sleigh?
There has to be more than one sleigh. We're not asking for the sleigh.
We can get you a sled.
One that we all can fit on.
One that ye all could fit on. Oh my days.
And its name
There's
is
5
Rosebud.
of us who are children.
There are 5 of us and 2 are children.
Doesn't have to be that big of a sled.
James actually looks at Challenger like, what the crap is wrong with this man?
Like an actual shrug from Challenger.
Like an actual, like, I'm not even joking. Like, what the shit is happening right now?
Letting me see what I can scrape up.
That's good, because I mean, obviously, we want to solve this mystery fast, right?
Obviously.
Faster the better. So I do appreciate your cooperation.
Have you seen me, Raccoon?
I wasn't really watching it. I'm sorry. Was I supposed to?
Ah, what are you good for, Outlander? And he sort of just walks by and goes cussing.
Finding
off into town.
Mr. Claus. That's what I'm good for. Have we actually encountered anyone who wants to find Santa Claus? Like everyone is just all,
I guess
Chucky.
Outlanders. I hate y'all. I hate everybody else here too. Like, man.
There is no joy here.
So what else could I get out of the raccoon?
So yeah, the raccoon will let you know that his name is Chitters,
Chitters.
and he. What other questions do you have for Chitters?
I did ask what he shook out of Mrs. Claus. What did he shake her down for?
Well, we were looking for some syrup, but she didn't have one.
Or sandpaper.
She did
You
offer
had-
some sugar, but sugar's for elves. We can't do this. We can't do the sugar.
So she had some of the stuff the snowman peddles.
You know about Slinky?
We interviewed him as he's in the dungeon.
Can you set him free?
Only if we find Santa.
Slinky didn't have anything to do with Santa's disappearance.
We'll tell that to Chucky
Who's Chucky?
and the rest. The leader of the Redcoats.
Ugh.
See what I mean? There's that angst again.
Even the raccoon's here.
So, did you have Mrs. Claus out in the woods when the gunshot went off? Was she completely and utterly with you guys at that time?
We had let her go at that point.
And did she head back towards the ranger camp or further into the woods?
Chitters sort of looks and scratches under his chin. You know, I think she went closer and deeper into the woods.
Hmm.
I didn't think nothing of it because she was back in town when they brought Santa in. Or
But she didn't-
they brought Anson in.
But they didn't. But she was already. So she went deeper into the woods and somehow made it back to the castle before they did.
Yeah. But you know how those. I mean, you guys got tall legs.
But this is deep snow.
It's not really a problem for people like Mrs. Claus.
Has a way about her, does she?
Yeah, part of the benefit of being Mrs. Claus is you can just sort of get around in hard weather.
Ah, I see. Well, would you or some of your companions be so kind as to maybe investigate where she went to in the woods?
What's in it for us?
I could see about getting you some syrup.
Don't play with me.
I'm not one who plays. Well, not with people who are willing to help me out.
Slinky's the only guy who knows where to get syrup around here.
I'm fairly certain I had some at breakfast this morning.
No, it's not like that.
Oh, something else. Then is it much like the sugar?
It's that sticky icky.
Wow.
You'll have to give me a better description so that I might be able to come across it while Slinky is incarcerated.
Slinky owns the whole supply. He's got it hidden somewhere. Or he makes it. It's hard to say. I don't know.
Okay. Then let me say this. If you help me and my friends with this investigation, we will see about getting Slinky free and making sure that he gives you what you're owed.
You made a persuasion check.
Persuading a raccoon. 20.
Chitter sort of looks up at you. Says, I'm willing to help out, but I'm probably going to need something to give my guys in advance.
What can I don't have access to any of the syrup now.
Slinky might have some with him in the dungeon.
Well, we won't be going back anytime soon. We need to go out and investigate where the ambush actually happened.
All right, but you bring it back,
All right.
and we'll go take a look.
Thank you. And she will reach down to shake the raccoon's paw.
He'll hold it up. And he will run off to go find some other raccoons to go and help in your investigation.
Teehee.
Tee-hee.
And Minerva will join the rest of the group. What'd I miss?
Hello? Anybody there?
Did we all drop or something?
Just got like dead quiet.
I said, what did I miss?
We're waiting to see what we can get from Yukon, McTavish, in the way of transportation to get out there. Hoping for something bigger than a sled.
Okay, you're saying sled like like a downhill on a snow day thing. I'm thinking like the big sled, pulled by reindeer / horses.
Ain't that a sleigh bus? Or
Sleigh.
English is hard.
I was under the assumption those two were different. I could be wrong.
What's the difference between a sleigh and a stagecoach?
Wheels and runners.
After a
have-
little bit, McTavish will come back, and he does, sure enough, have a sled that is large enough to house the 5 of you and him. It is being pulled by a lethargic and skinny reindeer with a glowing red nose.
Aw.
Of course he's lethargic.
This who I think it is?
Benny. Benny the reindeer.
It's Olive.
Oh,
Olive,
the
the
other
other
reindeer.
reindeer.
Boo. Olive the other reindeer.
Oh God.
Wow.
That joke is old at this point, but still hilarious.
I've not heard it before, so
Real?
Works
Oh
for me.
I
God,
don't
really?
think I heard it either.
Oh no. Oh.
and the reindeer will sort of pull the sled up, and it comes to a lurching stop, and it just sort of hangs its head sadly, and looks up at all of you.
Having a bad day?
It snaps up when it understands what you're saying. Every day's a bad day here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They all make fun of me. And they call me names.
And yet you got picked to pull us out to investigate Santa's disappearance.
I'm the only reindeer that's available to elves.
But none of the other ones can say they helped find Santa.
I'm not gonna help find Santa.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I'm gonna carry you guys out there, but I'm not gonna get any of the credit.
I can make sure of that.
Is this like a magic talking reindeer, or is this like a Minerva thing?
This is a Minerva thing.
Minerva thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. I just don't know how much of this we're hearing,
Half the conversation.
which makes it even stranger.
Yep.
Minerva, ask him if
Yes?
he wants a cookie.
Did you get a cookie from breakfast?
He's going to conjure a cookie with his illusion.
I saw
Don't
what
take it away until after he eats it. He'll still get the benefits of eating it. Just won't fill up his belly.
I think that's a bit mean.
Why? He still gets to taste the snack.
But he won't benefit from it.
I mean, he won't get full from it, but it's still tasty.
It won't stay on his hips.
It's like the best. You still get to eat the food, but it just doesn't.
Yeah, I think this guy needs to eat for energy as well.
Do you have a cookie, Challenger?
Well, I don't have a fake cookie.
Sounds like you don't have a real cookie either.
Sounds like you don't neither.
Boys, it's
Never
okay.
claimed to.
Minerva gets down on a knee and puts her hand on James's shoulder. I know what it's like to not be able to feel like you're full. I know what it's like to eat and not taste anything either. I think you're offering him something that you think would be helpful. But if it doesn't fill him, it's probably just going to make him more depressed.
Then I think we need to go get him a real cookie.
I think that's a great idea, but we'd have
Wonder-
to go back to the castle for that.
You don't have any cookies? He'll look at Yukon.
Does this look like the kind of place that would have cookies?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually,
Looks down at Gut. Looks back up.
Oh, wow.
He storms off. He'll be back in a minute.
With a cookie? Or without one?
It's hard to say.
piece for you.
But the reindeer will look back up at Minerva. So,
Yes.
what are you doing? What is your part in all of this?
Trying to find Santa.
I hope you find him so you can talk to him about reindeer rights.
There's a lot of things Santa needs to talk to about.
That's true. And he sort of looks sadly in the direction that Yukon went.
Well, I'll make sure that the other reindeer know what you did for us. And you know they'll believe me because, well, you can understand me.
That doesn't change the fact that they're pricks.
No, it doesn't. But
So full of themselves. It's just like, have you ever been at work and you just really wanted to punch somebody in the face?
yes,
That's how I feel about Comet.
well, I'm sorry. Part of it is bullies like to feel important because they are themselves very insecure. And so they take it out on others.
I don't even have hands and I want to punch him in the face.
Aren't those what the antlers are for?
That's only for mates, and reindeer like me don't get to mate.
Another thing we should talk to Santa about.
He says he doesn't want me to pass my mutation along to anyone. And when he says mutation, his nose begins to illuminate.
Well, that could come in handy out here in this perpetual night. Even if it is a little bit brighter here than other places.
I hope so. There's a school in New York. If that's not a Robot Chicken sketch, it should be. After a few moments, Yukon will come back. He doesn't have any cookies, but he does have a box of oat cakes.
James will run up and say, thanks! And then run over to Rudolph. And he'll side-eye Challenger, like, do you want to give him one?
Challenger has this look on his face like he wants to join James in this, but then he's like just tensely walking forward, waiting to see how James will react.
James looks at all of the oatcakes and is like, and I'll hold the box out to Challenger. I get to give him the first one.
Fine.
Give him an oatcake.
Rudolph will devour the oat cake almost immediately.
And
Can
then
you feed him?
He had his feeding this morning.
What do you feed him?
Hay and grass. And carrots.
Why is he so hungry?
He's not one of the pedigree reindeer. He gets fed whatever's left over at the end of the day.
James seems very upset by this.
He's lucky we haven't sent him off to the glue factory yet.
You what?
That abominable nose. Ugh.
Don't listen to him. And he's gonna feed Rudolph the other cake.
We'll just take turns giving the oatcakes to Rudolph.
After a couple, Rudolph will back up a little bit and be like, I probably shouldn't eat too many.
Okay, we'll save some for later.
And his energy perks up. He seems to settle into the harness a little more securely and happily, and he looks at all of you and says, well, shall we?
Yukon, you know where we're heading? You want to lead the sleigh?
I'll drive this sleigh. Doesn't look like you Outlanders know how to handle the reins anyway. And he sort of looks at Josiah. Well, maybe you. Maybe you know how to steer a horse.
I can figure it out.
Shut up, challenging.
And McTavish will hit the reins, and Rudolph will drag you guys out into the wastes. Heading up.
As we're heading out, Minerva will pull Champion and Josiah aside in the back of the sleigh. This whole place is really
Garbage.
Yes. I mean, even the raccoons are in on rackets. They were. So I got a little bit of information from Yukon's raccoon. They actually attempted to shake down Mrs. Claus for syrup, something your snowman friend also provides. Apparently, the animals here can't handle the sugar, so they get syrup. She was with them for a bit, and when she left, she went deeper into the woods before the gunshot rang out.
So she disappeared near the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
So I did get him to agree to investigate for us. We're just going to have to make sure we get some of that syrup from the snowman and then make sure that he gets released. So Josiah, you've been around a bit. This all seems very odd to me. I'm sure it does to you too, Champion. Is there anything that you can think of that would tie all of this together? I mean, what does one get from destroying Christmas? That seems to be what would happen if Santa isn't around.
Depends on who's gunning for him. I mean, my first thought was that until I got here and saw the state of the local politics, my first thought it was some rival court or entity such as Krampus or the like, out to lay claim to the holiday.
And now?
I'm not so sure. I mean, with all this infighting, I mean, the Fae are known to, war with each other, but they usually do it more with more elegance and a little less, brazen about it. Most of the nobility in my homeland of London in England uh, most of the nobility from when I was a young lad would like to have had the grace and the social wit and machinations that the Fae normally partake in. This is just a lot more greed and just than I'm used to.
Yeah, there's a lot of vice for a magical place that's supposed to bring joy to the world's children.
Is it possible that because they're spreading joy, they have none of their own? Is it there's an equal exchange in magic, right?
Well, I mean, I gotta defer to you on all that. Like all that magic stuff is just right over my head. But there's, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's my lack of experience with magic that's leading me down this thought process. But it's almost like they're a little too mundane in their criminality, and like, you know what I mean. Like this is less of a special place and more like the
Titan
worst
City?
of the worst of the normal world.
Atlantic City.
Oh no, we're in Reno.
Alex, can I make any kind of roll or anything? Does this seem to jive with my understanding of even how Fae do war and politics? Does this even seem to jive with that, or does this seem
Give me an
more
expertise check.
15?
With a 15, this does not read like the way you would expect fairy or fey creatures to commit war against one another. You have not heard of a court falling into disrepair against itself in such a way. And this doesn't feel anything like what you would have expected it to feel like. Based on your based on your past dealings with creatures like this. You do know that there are instances where the Fae will become a dark reflection of the real world around them, but there's nothing like this at the North Pole outside, in like the regular world. So
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's a desolate wasteland on the regular side of the dimensional pivot.
Given all the characters here that are connected to Club Tartarus, is that possibly a point of influence?
It could be. And you think this kind of fairy realm is definitely keyed into the Fae that rules over it. So, Josiah, you would think maybe there is something wrong with Santa Claus, or something that is affecting Santa Claus that might be causing the dimension to reflect this sort of dark capitalist undertones. But whether this started before or after Santa was taken, it's hard to say. Just with the weird, wibbly wobbly way that time works between dimensions.
Okay.
So something might be affecting Santa Claus, or something may have. Maybe his exposure at Club Tartarus caused some kind of chain reaction to the dimension that he rules over.
Something's definitely, for lack of a better term, infected this realm. It's
That's
almost
a
like
good thing.
almost like the worst parts of Titan City have bled into here.
Yeah, that's so it's not just me. Like that was the vibe I was getting too. Like they're somehow like patterning off of Titan City, but it just strikes me as, I mean, they would normally have dealings all over the world. What would connect them directly to Titan City?
They did say there were an awful lot of kids on the naughty list from Titan City. At least that's what I got from the raccoon. That's why Yukon called it a trash fire of a city.
Yeah, but I'm sure other places have lots of horrible children as well. I mean,
But Titan
Oh.
City seems rather connected to the magical world. What with being a hotbed for the monster relocations and the stuff that Champion and I have dealt with in the past. I mean, Club Tartarus is there. I'm not sure I know of a place more magical. I mean, I don't even know that here counts from what I've seen of Club Tartarus.
And we didn't really talk about this before, Minerva, but is there a specific reason Mr. Powers has taken up roost in Titan City? Is there some draw, or is that just where he landed?
If I could ever get a straight answer from him lately, I'm fairly certain he wouldn't tell me anyway.
That is one of the great mysteries of Mr. Powers. Why here? Why now?
Well, there are a number of ley lines that connect in that city, but that's not the only location that has a dozen ley lines kind of intersecting. So
Things to think about.
Yeah.
More pieces to a puzzle that we don't even have an image of yet.
I hate making
So
puzzles
many
about the
kids
box.
on the naughty list from Titan City, and Mr. Powers just happens to scoop up 2 kids as part of the quote unquote rescue operation. This whole thing stinks.
I'm sure they're both on the long list.
I don't know this James kid very well, but I mean, Challenger's a good kid.
Sure.
Sure. Awesome. Anything else pressing as you guys are riding northward?
Nope. I think we're good to move to the next scene.
Awesome. Well, the gang, Rudolph will bring you northward, traveling through the sort of desolate wastes of this expanse of ice and snow alongside this forest off to your right. Every now and then, Minerva, you do hear chittering coming from the forest. Do you think the raccoons may be keeping pace with where you all are going? But after some time, the sleigh will come to a stop, and McTavish will get out, and he will pick up a little bit of the snow, put it in his mouth, spit it out, and look around and say, "This is the place." Sometimes it's hard to tell with the blizzards that come through here and refill everything, but this is where we found that guy.
But you can tell that by tasting the snow.
I could taste the ash. Came out of his head.
Is there anything else around? Footprints or anything along those lines?
Everybody who wants to, give me an investigation or an expertise survival check.
Negation.
24 investigation.
Oof.
It's almost
Wow.
like we're children.
You don't have the attention span for
Yeah, I just
investigation.
want to pet Rudolph.
Oh my god.
Emotional damage.
Ow.
I want to try again. I didn't do horrible. but
Yeah, I'm gonna
did-
spend a hero point as well.
I love the Challenger and Mysterious Boy rolled the same thing. For those at home, they both got a 6, which was a 1 on the dice for Challenger, but a 2 on the dice for Mysterious Boy.
With my reroll, I ended up with a 19.
Excellent.
So unfortunately, not much better, but an 18 on the reroll.
So 18,
24 for Minerva.
18, 19, 24. More of you succeeded than failed, so this sort of group investigation is a success. The kids are holding you back, but it's fine. It's okay.
Really
Looking around, you can tell that this area has snowed over in the last couple of days since it's been from the ambush. You do see traces of black ash sort of mixed in with the snow. The snow hasn't seemed to be able to cover all of it. It looks like occasionally the ashes will flare and the snow will melt around them and it will come to the surface. Based on that information, you could tell that there's been about 8 to 12 inches of snowfall since the attack took place. You don't see any footprints, but you do see several shell casings to the east of this clearing, right over by where the forest line opens up. You do find evidence that there was at least 3 or 4 shots in this area. It looks like something may have blasted one of the tree trunks here. One of the trees appears to be felled, and there are several large splinters around. And Minerva got a 24. Minerva, you're able to tell that there was a large humanoid that came to this scene after the shots had taken place, and it looks like whatever that humanoid was scared off the people who were holding the gun. You can tell there was 2 or 3 individuals in that area. You're not sure if they each had guns or if only one of them had a gun, but
Okay.
you can tell that these, and they look like elf-sized tracks.
Oh, there are tracks in the woods, but not in the
clearing.
Not in the clearing. Okay.
And the tracks are hard to follow. It looks like that they have been snowed in a little bit, but the trees have prevented as much snowfall from coming in.
Okay.
And these are thick and tall evergreen trees.
Right.
Sort of pine and spruce and stuff like that.
Hey, champion, can you come here for a minute?
Sure.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And she'll point out the shell casings and then what look to be a grouping of 3 sets of elven tracks.
And it looks like they beat feet off into the southeast.
Does that look out of place with the most recent snowfall? Like, are the tracks too clear?
No. This was just a result of the high roll.
Okay.
They are covered. They are not covered with snow, but they are filled in.
Filled in a little
snow, but the forest cover has prevented it from filling in as much as the tracks in the clearing.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
here's a
looks like you found a trail. That's good.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Alex.
Mhm.
Yukon, is he wandering about in the clearing as we're investigating?
No, he is standing up on the driver's seat of the sleigh with a rifle unslung, and he has his eyes on a swivel, just sort of paranoidly looking around the area.
Were there any other rangers that came with us, or is it just him?
Just him.
Okay.
I'm going to quietly sort of move the sling on my rifle around so that it's a little readier.
Yukon, a question while you're keeping watch.
You don't be yelling though. The bumbles
That's
can hear
fair.
us.
That's fair. And she'll get closer, and kind of sit next to where he's standing. You said that you could move out here quicker than us because you have the ability to get through the snow relatively easily. Do you have a magic that allows you to not leave tracks on the snow?
No, we don't have anything like that. Mrs. Claus has something like that.
And Santa would as well?
Indeed.
Okay. But it's not something...
It's not something an elf could do.
Well...
At least not without magic that wasn't related to being an elf.
I see. Well, I did find something in the clearing to the right. Well, not the clearing, but the woods to the right. Somebody was in the woods and fired shots. It's probably Anson. Perhaps even Santa.
Do we know about, from the angle of the evidence, can we extrapolate about where the attack took place, like where Anson would have been hit?
Yeah. So looking in, it looks like the shots rang out from behind a couple of these trees, and it looks like it. From what you can tell, Anson didn't go down after the first shot. It looks like he had at least had time to turn around and send a spell into the woods, which seems to be what have destroyed a couple of the trees.
Interesting. I have some investigative abilities, but I'm not super great at it. Maybe several of us could take a look at the area where Anson and Santa would have been standing when the attack went off. See if we can find anything there.
That was where
Maybe.
you guys started looking.
Yeah.
But we didn't find anything like buried under the snow.
No, just some of Anson's ashes still on the ground, unable to be purged or purified.
Yukon,
There
Go ahead, Kevin.
There's no way to tell if any shots were at one target or if somebody sent some hot lead Santa's way. There's no way to tell that.
You don't see any bullets over there, and there's no blood. There's no like red human blood over there.
Okay.
Yukon, if you want to go help Champion with the investigation, I can keep watch, and I can get James and Challenger to help. If there's a specific direction you'd like us to keep an eye on for the Bumbles, we can certainly do that.
Look everywhere. They can come from any time.
Even
Any
behind
direction.
us?
They could be behind us. They could have been stalking us from the town.
All right. James.
Did I hear correctly? Did he say they could come from any time?
That's what he said.
Okay. Curious.
James, Challenger, will you keep an eye out with me on the sleigh here?
Sure thing.
As I'm looking around, I see some of Anson's ashes. Can I grab some of those?
Yeah, you could surreptitiously scoop those up.
Just file those away for later, just in case I ever need them. But yeah,
Just glass vial. They are warm to the touch when you scoop them in,
of course they are.
and you get you get a brief little like taste of like, ooh, that's magic. That's good stuff.
Then I'll make my way back to the sleigh
Excellent.
because I want to talk to Minerva.
So just establishing locations. Champion and Yukon are over looking in the area around where Anson and Santa were standing,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else is at the sleigh.
Yep.
Yes.
Keeping an eye out for Bumbles.
Okay. Challenger and Mysterious Boy, please give me a perception check while Minerva and Josiah are speaking.
So-
Like a pretty important check. Wow.
I'm spending one of my hero points.
Jeez,
They
you
rolled
two.
the same thing again. They rolled a 14, both of them.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can
I could do the
Shit.
same as you.
I rolled a 1 that time for an 18.
With the point that is a 23.
And I'm guessing, Minerva, you've described what you saw over in the woods and stuff to me.
Mm-hmm.
Based on that, I don't think this is horrible Bumbles or as horrible as they might seem to think.
Do you think it's just a innate fear they have?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, these elves are kind of dicks.
It's true.
And they're encroaching on their territory. They were probably here long before Santa and this little fey co-op. So my suspicion is that they're just, they may be simpletons, but I think that they're defending the territory.
That worries me that we've entered their territory then.
It's funny that you mentioned that.
Oh no.
That's the reason I wanted to have that conversation before you ambushed us.
Yes.
So Challenger, with your 23, you are the person who notices this. You're sort of like looking at James and rubbing it in his face that you're more alert than him, and you see almost like a shark moving through the snow. Just this tunnel moving very quickly over to where Champion and Yukon are, out of which explodes an enormous hulking humanoid figure covered in white fur with long jagged black claws and thick muscles, who roars, beats his chest, and a bunch of other bumbles begin exploding out of the snow around our heroes. And that is where we will end this week's session.
Oh no.
Oh,
shit.
we're 2 episodes in and I haven't been murdered by a monster yet. Oh wait, that's our cliffhanger.
That's
our
episode
cliffhanger.
3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very impressed we haven't had a fight in 2 episodes. That's what's up.
Well, I don't know that we haven't had a fight.
What do you mean we haven't had a fight?
Sorry, a combat. We haven't had a combat.
There we go. There we go. We
There
haven't
you
had
go.
a combat.
English is important. Yes, Deuce, are you ready to bumble? That might be the name of next week's episode. I'm just going to make a note of that real quick. But thank you, everybody who hung out with us tonight, and to all my players for continuing on this Santa-themed mystery. I think there's been a lot of good investigation going on. I love the roleplay of these characters, and I am very excited to see what happens as we continue our investigation into the disappearance of Santa Claus and the corruption of the North Pole that Josiah has sort of put a very fine point on, picking up on things that I wasn't expecting anybody to pick up on yet, which is good. As far as news around the network, tomorrow night our Gem Stars will be back to continue their magical girl adventures in LaFondie. I'm very excited to find out what's going to happen now that the Lore Republic ? Has showed up in LaFondie to be a problem for everybody else. Wednesday, Andy will be running his fabulous Power Rangers game. That's going to be excellent. He's been putting so much work into it, and all the players are really excited, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Thursday, we will hopefully have a new blog post up. I have some time set aside tomorrow to do some blog post writing, so I'll get a couple of those done and in the can so we can get those back up and running. Friday, our new episodes from YouTube will hit the website, and next Monday, we will be back here again for part 3 of Silence Night as we continue looking for Santa Claus. I want to give everybody a chance to say goodbye and plug anything they want to plug, and then we'll get out of here for the evening, starting with Kevin.
Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by for some Christmas capers. You gotta keep that alliteration thing on. So we have some familiar faces and some new faces putting together a brand new adventure to North Pole. Hopefully you're having a good time. I'm having a good time, so hopefully you are too. We will be back next week. Lots of great stuff coming up with the holidays. Just stick around. Enjoy the show. Over to you, Jonesy.
Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. And seeing that, yes, Jonesy can play an arrogant jerk character. But I'm having a blast. So hopefully you are too. And with that, I'll kick it down to Calvin.
Yeah. Again, everyone, thanks for coming out and watching live, and I'm really enjoying all of these characters. I'm having a lot of fun in this game. Hopefully we get to play these characters again some other time. If you want to see more of the stuff I'm doing, though, check out the Win with Dice channel on YouTube. We've got weekly gaming streams and podcasts. Gonna be playing some Gotham Knights this week finally, so we'll see how great that game is. I don't know. I'm gonna find out. And I'll pass it up to Andy.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. As Alex said, got Gemstars tomorrow night and Power Rangers on Wednesday. I am both excited and exceedingly nervous about the game, but as Alex said, I have put a lot of work into it, and I am excited to bring it to everyone on Wednesday to just show it off and really mess with my players, because this is going to be an interesting adventure I've got planned for them. So come please join us on Wednesday night for that. Join us tomorrow night for Gemstars, and join us next week where we continue the Christmas capers back at the North Pole. Kat?
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Just like everybody else said, I'm having a blast. I hope you guys are too. Definitely come watch Andy run Power Rangers, and then come watch the one-shots in the next 2 weeks as well. They're very Christmas based, and I'm very excited to play in those. Don't really have anything else to plug those, so I hope you're having a good time like me, and I will pass it to Alex.
Yeah, thank you again, everybody. We will see you here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. But until then, make good choices and keep being awesome people.